Hello everyone, David here from Beyond the Kingdoms, and it's time for my first Foodie Friday video from Galaxy's Edge. I had a terrific first experience visiting this new land at Hollywood Studios. I'm itching to get back inside. But before that happens, I want to share with you some snacks and beverages from this land. Now, if you watch my top tips video for Galaxy's Edge, you know that Oga's Cantina seems to be the most exclusive offering on Batuu. So today's Foodie Friday video will mainly cover the beverages offered inside this space bar, and a few other iconic beverages located in other sections of this land. If I can be honest with you, the drinks definitely outshine the food at Galaxy's Edge, which is why I'm covering it first. But don't worry, I'll have some more food reviews from this new land in the coming days. So let's jump right into today's video. Alright, for those of you who don't know, Oga's Cantina is located just a few steps away from Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Currently, the bar does offer reservations for all periods of the day, and I highly recommend you book it if you can. But don't be discouraged if you don't, because they're really hard to get. Now, when you first step inside, you'll be greeted by a lively, out-of-this-world space bar packed with so much detail. My only complaint is that I wish there were a few more creature animatronics in here, like Doc Ondor. But seeing DJ Rex again is fantastic. Now, this is not a copy of the famous cantina seen in the original film, but it definitely has the same vibe. It's just a little bit more colorful. When I walked in here for the first time, DJ Rex was spinning the original Cantina theme song, and I immediately began geeking out. It seemed to have a strange effect on me and loosen up my wallet and lower my inhibitions because I dove right into this experience headfirst at 6 o'clock in the morning. Which leads me to my first drink to review, the Bloody Rancor. This one is named after that ugly looking creature that we first saw in Return of the Jedi. The one that nearly took out Luke in the pits of Jabba's palace. For my non-Star Wars fans, this is the bar's Bloody Mary, and a good way to start the day. It was really nice and spicy, given that on top of the traditional Bloody Mary mix, you get Ancho Reyes chili liqueur, mixed in with Tito's vodka. It has a nice bite to it. But instead of a stick of celery to go with it, you get a baked meringue bone. It's fun, nice and strong, and greatly themed. I will admit that I recently had a Bloody Mary at Tusker House during breakfast, and that one was excellent. This one here came in a close second place. The Bloody Rancor is priced at $13, and the best option if you're rope dropping the park and coming here first. It's one of the few drinks that I personally can handle that early in the morning. Another item on the breakfast menu is served without alcohol and perfect for the younglings that get dragged in here at the crack of dawn, and that is the Blue Bantha. This is blue milk topped with a sugar cookie and named after the giant furry creatures that the Sand People use to travel around the desert landscape of Tatooine. A few things to point out here. This version of blue milk is slightly different from the one served outside at the milk stand. This version is not frozen, and in my opinion, it's actually the best version. But I will explain this drink in more detail later in today's video. It's that cookie shaped like the Bantha that I really love. It's a simple sugar cookie topped with a nut and coconut mixture that's covered in what I think was a mixture of peanut butter and chocolate. Now I will admit it's a little too chewy, but I still enjoy it. And I just like that you get a drink and a snack in one here. The Blue Bantha is priced at $13. It's a little steep for a non-alcoholic drink, but almost everything in this bar has a slightly higher price tag in comparison to other drinks offered around Disney World. Now technically, both of these items are meant to be breakfast-only offerings, but the bartenders assured me that for right now, everything on the menu, from breakfast and beyond, is served all day, as long as it's in stock. I think Disney is doing this because they know that availability is very limited in this bar, so don't feel that you're restricted to one version of the menu or the other. It's all open for right now, but that will probably change in the future when the dust settles a little bit. But let's next move on to the official lunch and dinner drinks menu, starting off with the Yub Nub. This is the Cantina's version of a traditional Mai Tai. If you're looking for a tropical cocktail that's not too strong and really smooth, this is the one. But I will admit that given that there are other more interesting options, I like this one the least. And I love a good Mai Tai, don't get me wrong. This version is a mixture of pineapple rum and Sailor Jerry spice rum, with a mixture of tropical juices and passion fruit, which really sticks out the most. It's light and easy and served in a fantastic indoor tiki mug. Now here's an extra tip. You'll notice on the menu that this is listed as $45. That price is if you order the drink and want to take home the souvenir mug. Now, unlike reports I've seen over in Disneyland, you can order this without the souvenir cup, and it's priced at $15. On this trip, I opted to skip on the souvenir mugs to spend more money on just having more drinks. But I was really surprised to still be served the Yub Nub in the cup itself, which is a fantastic collector's item. And now for my final cocktail at Oga's Cantina today, we have the Dagobah Slug Slinger, named after the planet Yoda was hiding on when Luke first came to visit him. This one wins the prize of being the most bizarre and interesting. The drink features Herradura Reposado tequila, mixed with blue curacao, citrus juices, and most notably, ginger. I'm not talking about ginger ale, I'm talking full fresh ginger. It's then garnished with a big sprig of rosemary. I was definitely warned that this is one of those drinks that you'll either love it or you're gonna hate it, and I have to agree on that. The ginger flavor is really prominent. I actually didn't even really taste alcohol in this. For my Brits, it kind of reminds me of ginger beer, but doesn't have that same level of bite to it. If you don't like ginger, definitely skip it. But I, for one, love ginger, and I must admit that this is actually my favorite drink so far. But I know that I stand alone on this. Most of the other cocktails here are just traditional drinks presented with a unique twist to tie in the theming. This is one of the few that is truly unique, and I really love that smell of rosemary with every sip. I know it sounds weird, but if you're up for something experimental, give it a try. The Dagobah Slug Slinger is priced at $16, making it one of the more expensive drinks on the menu, but I warn you now, it's much stronger than you think. Now, before I talk about some of the food items here, an extra note on souvenir cups. Aside from the Endor mug, there's also a Porg souvenir cup that comes with the Cliff Dweller, which is priced at $35 for both the cup and the drink. The third souvenir cup is the Rancor Beer Flight with this huge serving board of teeth cups. This is priced at a whopping $85 for the 4 samplings of beer and souvenir. Now, when visiting the Cantina, you're going to be limited to 2 drinks per person. So naturally, to get all 4 of these in, I made 2 trips bright and early. I will be returning again soon and trying more drinks, because my goal is to try them all and eventually report on my favorite. But so far, the Dagobah Slinger is definitely winning. And before we leave Oga's Cantina, a quick review on some of the food offerings. Since I came here at the crack of dawn and didn't want to get too tipsy first thing in the morning, I tried both breakfast offerings. The Mustafarian roll, named after the volcanic planet Mustafar. Darth Vader spent some time on here in his castle after the events of the prequel films. Please forgive me on the bad picture here, but this is essentially a flaky croissant shaped like a cinnamon roll and topped with a red icing and Oreo crumbles. Surprisingly, this wasn't as sweet as I thought it would be, and it lacked any filling inside whatsoever, so I would give it a skip, but if you want to know, it's priced at $6. The other breakfast item that I tried was the Rising Moon Overnight Oats. This is a mixture of oats with a dragon fruit yogurt and topped with a collection of fruit slices. If it wasn't for the fruit on top, this would have been incredibly bland. Like the previous item, I didn't really enjoy this one either. And it seems to be a theme at Galaxy's Edge. The food is just mediocre, and I've yet to find a good breakfast item, which is a big problem given that so many people will be visiting this land in the early morning hours of the day. This is definitely a place where the drinks shine. In the end, I had a great time at the Cantina, mainly because of the fun theming and the terrific bar staff that really get into it. It turned out to be my favorite aspect of the land so far, even more than riding the Falcon in some ways, believe it or not. But I think only the big Star Wars fans will share in my enthusiasm. A casual fan might think the place requires too much effort and it's filled with very expensive drinks. But I would like to say that Trader Sam's at the Polynesian can sometimes be just as difficult to get into, especially if you arrive at peak times. And that's because Trader Sam's is much smaller in size. If you enjoy that classic tiki bar, I think you'll enjoy this too simply for the fun ambiance. If you're not a big fan of tiki bars and you don't really like crazy cocktails, you'll probably find this place to be a little bit overrated. Like with many things inside this land, your love for the franchise will really dictate how much you enjoy things. But Star Wars fans, you must get inside of here at all costs. I know the drink prices are a little steep, but the 2-drink cutoff will keep things in check. Now, for those of you who don't drink alcohol or want a fun Star Wars beverage for the younglings, you'll want to make a stop at the Milk Stand. This is located in the old outpost area of the land and a few steps away from First Order cargo and the TIE Fighter. Blue milk was first seen in the original Star Wars film that came out in 1977, in a scene at the Skywalker farm on Tatooine, when Luke was first asking his aunt and uncle to attend the academy to become a pilot. Green milk didn't make an appearance in the movies until many years later in the recent Last Jedi film, where we kind of disgustingly watched Luke milk a thalasiren on Ook 2. It was a little awkward. Both green milk and blue milk are served at the milk stand, and something only available here in Florida is that there's an alcoholic version of both. But before I talk about that, I want to say that both versions of this space milk are slightly frozen, plant-based milks. Disney uses a combination of coconut and rice milk, so there's no actual dairy in them, and it's much lighter than you think. I was actually kind of expecting something a little thicker, almost like a milkshake, but that wasn't true, and I kind of prefer it that way. And they are both surprisingly very fruity, but nowhere near as sweet as the Night Blossom in Pandora or LeFou's Brew in Fantasyland. If those are a little too sweet for you, you might like this one better. Now, in my opinion, blue is better than green. It's a little bit more tropical, but the non-frozen version at Oga's Cantina is definitely still my favorite. Now, I couldn't get a straight answer as to what flavors are exactly in these things, but blue milk tastes a little bit more tropical, while green milk tastes a little bit more citrusy. Both non-alcoholic versions are priced at $7.99 and qualify as a snack credit on the dining plan, which is excellent given the higher price tag. Now, as much as I prefer blue milk, the alcoholic green milk is quite good. These are both called milk coolers, and the blue milk cooler mixes in rum, while the green milk cooler features tequila. In a way, the green milk cooler kind of feels like a citrusy margarita. But I'll admit that the addition of alcohol kind of separates the drink consistency, and I kind of think it's unnecessary. Nothing compares to the frozen margaritas in Mexico. I like this, and I'm glad I tried it, but I really don't see the point in adding alcohol to this. It just kind of feels like Disney's capitalizing on the fact that they can sell alcohol in more locations at Hollywood studios than they can over in Disneyland. But I guess if getting into the Cantina proves to be a little too difficult, this is probably the best drink to get elsewhere in the land. Both the green milk and blue milk coolers are priced at $14. And I want to add that you can get a Wamba Family Farm light up souvenir cup here as well. This will come with a non-alcoholic version of milk for $24.99. Sorry guys, you can't get the alcohol version with this souvenir. But these cups are pretty darn big and easily hold 2 servings of milk. So again, if you want a fun collectible, this is a good option if you want to share the iconic drink with some friends. And I want to mention that the milk stand is now offering mobile order, so you can order these right on your phone and skip the line altogether. So there you have it, friends, a mostly Drinks Foodie Friday video from Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios. In the end, out of all the beverages I tried, the Dagobah Slug Slinger at Oga's Cantina is definitely my favorite, with the Bloody Rancor in a close second place. And of the non-alcoholic drinks, the Blue Bantha wins in my book because I prefer the non-frozen version of blue milk. I'm actually craving it right now as we speak. But sadly guys, that will definitely have to do it for today. Like always, thank you so much for watching, and tune in to this Sunday's main show, a trip back to reality with a full review of this year's Food and Wine Festival. And until next time, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.